Yes, your lunch. No frozen food today either. Thanks, I'm off. I make lunch for my husband every morning. It's tough with twin toddlers, but my husband is supportive with childcare. That's why it seems we can manage both parenting and our marriage well. I used to think so. Hey, someone's been dumping kitchen waste in the trash can outside our store. Was that your husband? That's not allowed, you know. What? No way I'd do that. Is my husband really doing that? It wasn't clear because it wasn't in a transparent bag, but I saw a white plastic bag and could vaguely make out something like rice inside. Maybe leftovers? Any idea? No clue. He doesn't even take out the trash. Maybe I saw it wrong then. Should have checked properly. But I can't just pull it out of the trash. I'll ask him about it. Until we figure it out, could you not mention it if you see him? I lied to my friend. It was probably the contents of his lunch that my husband dumped. The supermarket where my friend works is between our house and the station. And he passes by it on his way to work. But why would he do such a thing? The reason became clear soon. Hey, long time no see. Can you let me in? What's up? My husband and I used to work at the same place. A colleague from that time brought my drunk husband home. Should I carry him to bed? No, that's fine. Just leave him there. Is it okay to let him sleep at the entrance? Better than him throwing up in bed. Just let the drunkard sleep there, a towel under his head will do. By the way, why did he drink so much? Didn't you hear? There was a farewell party today. Remember, for the person you both knew. Ah, right. He probably drank a lot trying to liven up the party, as salespeople do. Now that you mention it, I think I forgot about the farewell party. Must be hard with twins and still making such nice lunches every day. Forgetting once in a while can't be helped, right? Wait, lunches? He's supposed to be throwing away the lunches, but my husband is eating them at work? As I listened to his story, the reason why my husband was dumping the lunches I made came to light. Upon discovering the truth, I decided to make him pay. I'm Sally. I'm 28 and work in sales. My husband, Tom, is 4 years older and we used to work at the same place, having a relationship. We married after dating for 2 years, born from a workplace romance. I love my job, so I continued working even after we got married. And I was fully intending to keep working even if we had kids. However, when I actually got pregnant, something unexpected happened, and I found myself wondering whether I should continue working. Turns out, the baby in my belly is twins. Really? That means we're going to have 2 kids at once. Yeah, but what's wrong? Aren't you happy? Of course, I'm happy. It's just, with twins, the childcare burden is going to be double, right? I'm wondering if it might be too hard to keep working. That's true. You do want to keep working. Are you thinking about quitting your job to focus on the kids? I'm considering it, but there's the issue of money. Don't worry. I'll work harder, so you can focus on raising our kids. Okay. But we'll be really tight on just your income. I'm sure we'll struggle when it comes time to pay for their education, so I might take a part-time job or go back to work then. Life is going to be tough from here on. But I'm determined to raise our kids well. With this resolve, I rubbed my belly, sharing my determination with the twins inside. 9 months pregnant. I left my job. Take care and have healthy babies. Thank you. You're going to be working with Tom now, right? If he ever gives you a hard time, let me know. I'll give him a piece of my mind. I wouldn't do that. After working for 6 years, I received a warm send-off from my colleagues. New employees, being only 2 years in, still had me worried. If possible, I would have liked to continue working. But right now, the babies in my belly come first. I left my job with a sense of nostalgia. Yet I don't think I had to quit because of the babies. I simply shifted my happiness from work to parenting. And who knows, maybe I'll return to work once the kids are a bit older. Feeling fully prepared, I eagerly rubbed my belly, longing to meet my children soon. About a month after quitting, the kids were born safely. You did great. Both are healthy boys. Shall we stick with the names we decided? Or, did seeing their faces change your mind? Let's keep the names we decided. The older brother will be Jack, and the younger one will be Noah. Watching my children cry vigorously, I imagined a bright future and braced myself for the upcoming parenting journey. However, parenting was tougher than I imagined, and despite my determination, my spirit was nearly broken after just 3 months. Finally, they've fallen asleep. Hey, now Noah's started crying. Just when Jack finally calmed down. When one stops crying, the other starts. My nights are mostly sleepless, soothing the twins' night cries. Facing childcare for the first time, and with twins no less, felt like a harsh trial given by fate. I kept telling myself it would get easier as they grow a bit more. If only my husband would help with the childcare. Hey, Noah is crying. Oh, now Jack started too. Hurry up and calm them down. I'm tired from work and just want to eat in peace. I'm exhausted from twin childcare and haven't had a peaceful meal since they were born. Irritated by my husband's words but prioritizing the children, I ignore him. I used to complain to my husband a lot at first. But I stopped since it was just a waste of energy. Can you at least take care of Jack and Noah a bit? I do bathe them, don't I? That's all you do. Do you have any idea how much more there is to do? But hey, you quit your job to focus on childcare, right? I'm working hard in exchange, so it's only natural you take on more of the childcare burden. While I'm changing the kids' diapers, my husband sits on the living room couch, drinking beer. He can't even pause his drinking to help change a diaper. Indeed, my husband has been working hard for our kids. Since I quit my job, he started working late and his weekends at work have increased. He also sometimes works or studies outside on weekends because the kids make it hard to concentrate at home. In the beginning, he did help with the childcare. But as he realized how tough it was, he began to leave almost everything to me, resulting in me handling it all on my own. I won't last if this continues. So, I decided to talk to a friend who has experience with parenting. I'm struggling because my husband hardly helps with the kids. Relying on your husband is a waste of time. Men think they're doing enough just by helping a little. Was Mary's husband like that too? Did you do all the childcare by yourself? Pretty much on my own. I found ways to save time and effort. Is there anything I can do right away? Well, you make lunch for your husband, right? Knowing you, you're probably seriously making eggs every morning? Well, I have to make the side dishes. With twins, it's okay to rely on frozen foods. Frozen foods, huh? Today's frozen foods are really well made. There are plenty at the supermarket where I work. Why don't you try buying some next time? Maybe I will. Hearing my friend's story, I realized I'm not the only one with an unhelpful husband, and decided to accept that this is what parenting is like. Also, I decided to try using frozen foods, following my friend's advice. These frozen foods would later become the small trigger for a significant incident. I went to the supermarket recommended by my friend to buy frozen foods. The supermarket, open 24/7, is a large store. Therefore, the frozen food section was also extensive. There were standard items like fried chicken and pizza, as well as more unique options like beef stroganoff and a spinach and walnut salad. There were also cut vegetables and desserts. Overwhelmed by the variety, I just chose a few items that seemed easy to use for lunch. After shopping, I decided to try the frozen dumplings I bought for my lunch. Eating them, I was surprised. Even though it was microwaved, the skin was still crispy. Of course, I don't make dumplings from scratch. However, instead of buying them from the frozen or deli section, I always bought chilled dumplings. Because they're crispy and delicious when cooked. Thinking this, my image of frozen foods changed drastically after eating these frozen dumplings. The next morning, I decided to put frozen fried chicken in my husband's lunchbox. It's meant for lunchboxes, so it thaws by lunchtime without needing to be heated. I was quietly thrilled to fill up the side dish space in the lunchbox with just that fried chicken. Finding this convenient, I started to use frozen foods more often. Since it significantly reduced the time needed for my lunch and my husband's lunch preparation, I was pleased with my choice. However, my husband did not feel the same. You've been using frozen foods in my lunch lately, haven't you? The frozen foods nowadays are delicious, right? They save so much time, so it's really helpful. I understand childcare is busy, but having almost all the lunch sides be frozen foods is kind of embarrassing, isn't it? Just bear with it until Jack and Noah get a bit bigger. Making lunch is really hard, you know. You quit your job for childcare, right? But using that as an excuse to skimp on lunch. I don't know. My husband had stepped on a landmine. I wonder if Mary's husband ever said something like that to her. I couldn't stand it. Furious, I decided to teach my husband a lesson. All right. I'll put in a bit more effort tomorrow, just like you wanted. I'm counting on you. It's me who gets embarrassed at work, after all. My husband walked from the living room towards the bedroom. I glared at his back with anger and a mischievous smile. The next morning, I couldn't just not give him a lunchbox, so I did make one. Here. Be grateful that I put in the effort, just like I said yesterday. You seem to be in a bad mood this morning. My husband seemed clueless about why I was upset. At this point, I had no expectations of him, so I felt nothing. Besides, since he took his lunchbox, my mood had already improved. That night, as soon as my husband came home, he apologized to me. I'm sorry for everything up to now. I'll help with the childcare from here on. What happened? I did play a prank on him with the lunchbox. But him offering to help with childcare was unexpected, so I was surprised. With a guilty look, my husband handed me the lunchbox. The lunch today, you just filled it with sandwich bread and cut out cheese, saying against solo parenting, didn't you? My coworkers saw it. I was cornered by the female employees and after explaining, got a lot of flack. It seems like women do understand each other. The prank I did out of spite seems to have solved my solo parenting problem. But seeing my husband's remorseful face and knowing he was attacked by others made me think I might have gone too far. I might have gone too far. I'm sorry. I won't use frozen foods anymore. It's fine to use them if they're convenient. All right. Then I'll use them when things get tough. After that, my husband started to help with childcare. There were times he didn't know what to do or wasn't very attentive, but if I told him what I needed, he would do it right away. Not only was the burden of childcare lighter, but having a cooperative husband also lifted my spirits. Here's your lunch. No frozen food today. Thanks, I'm off. The lunch issue was resolved, and things seemed to be going well. I thought we could manage parenting and our marriage without any problems from now on. But my husband was betraying me behind my back. A few days later, I got a complaint call from a friend. Tom has been dumping kitchen waste in the trash can in front of our store. What's that about? You're not making him do it, are you? What? No way I'd do that. Is my husband really doing that? I couldn't see well because it wasn't in a transparent bag, but I saw a white plastic bag and could vaguely make out something like sandwich inside. Maybe leftovers? Any idea? No clue. He doesn't even take out the trash. Maybe I saw it wrong then. Should have checked properly. But I can't just pull it out of the trash. I'll ask him about it. Until we figure it out, could you not mention it if you see him? I lied to my friend. It was probably the contents of his lunch that my husband dumped. The supermarket where my friend works is between our house and the station, and my husband passes by it on his way to work. It seems he's been throwing things away there. But why would my husband throw away the lunches I made for him? There might be a reason, maybe it was just that day. I didn't want to believe that my husband was throwing away the lunches, so I convinced myself of more favorable explanations. Also, I couldn't bring myself to confront my husband because I kept telling myself he wasn't throwing them away. Then, 3 days later, my friend called again. Your husband seems to be dumping kitchen waste here every day. Did you talk to him about it? Ah, sorry. I've been so busy with the kids that I put it off and then forgot. My hope was unfounded, and it wasn't just a one-time thing. My husband has been doing it daily. Maybe the issue with the frozen foods had an impact. I slumped onto the sofa and sighed deeply. I can't keep causing trouble for the supermarket. I decided to confront my husband about the lunches when he got home from work. However, that night, he came home in no condition to talk. Hey, long time no see. Can you let us in? Mike! What happened? Around midnight, my husband returned, supported by his junior. I opened the door and let my husband and his junior into the house. As my husband entered, the entrance was immediately filled with the smell of alcohol. He couldn't stand without support from his colleague. It seemed he drank a lot. Should I carry him to bed? No, that's fine. Just leave him there. Is it okay to let him sleep at the entrance? If he throws up in bed, it'll be a mess. Just let the drunkard sleep here, a towel under his head will do. By the way, why did he drink so much? Didn't you hear? There was a farewell party today. Remember, for the person you both knew. Ah, right. He probably drank a lot trying to liven up the party, as salespeople do. Now that you mention it, I think I forgot about the farewell party. It must be tough with twins and still making such beautiful lunches every day. Forgetting once in a while can't be helped, right? Wait, lunch? I was caught off by his comment. My husband has been throwing away his lunches every day. I thought he was buying lunch at a convenience store or eating out because of that. But despite throwing away the lunches I made, it seems he's been eating them. And what does he mean by a beautiful lunch? Right now, I don't know the details, and it's probably not something I should be discussing with others. Yeah, it's tough every morning. Continuing from the time with my friend, I lied again. But this time, not over the phone, and my facial expression could be seen. He didn't miss my subtle expression. Yeah, I can imagine it's hard. My subtle expression made the junior match his conversation to mine, sensing the mood. I could tell from his subtle expression that he understood. But this feels like a kind of mutual understanding we shouldn't have. I have a taxi waiting outside, so I'll be going now. Wait a minute. Sensing the uneasy atmosphere and trying to leave quickly, I grabbed his collar from behind to stop him from leaving. I had a hunch that he knew something about my husband. There's something you know about him, isn't there? Tell me. Please don't say you heard it from me. Knowing resistance was futile, the junior started to share information. That was what I desperately didn't want to think about. The rumor at work is that Tom might be having an affair with a female coworker. There's no evidence, but you know, such talk doesn't come from nowhere. And my subtle reaction to the lunch topic must have added credibility to those rumors. Yes. Seeing your reaction, it seemed like Tom isn't getting lunches made by you, yet he's eating lunch at work. So, people are thinking maybe those lunches were made by the coworker he's suspected of having an affair with. I see. Throwing away the lunches might be because it would seem odd if he said he didn't need them anymore. Maybe the affair started when I began including frozen foods in the lunches. Seeing a lunch full of frozen foods, the other woman might have offered to make them. Got it, thank you. Sorry for holding you up. Don't mention this conversation to my husband, okay? He nodded silently and left. At the entrance, my husband lay snoring loudly, reeking of alcohol. Leaving my husband's disheveled form at the entrance, I went back to the living room and grabbed his pay stub from the shelf. I usually check his salary amount through the bank account, so I had never looked at his pay stubs before. Since our children were born, my husband has been working hard, often coming home late and working more weekends. However, when I checked the working hours and overtime on the pay stub, the numbers clearly didn't add up. The colleague had said it was just a rumor, but I was convinced it was true. Knowing the truth, I decided to bring my husband down to hell. A week later, I was sitting in the living room with my arms crossed, waiting for my husband to come home from work. I'm home. Hey, why such a scary face? Just sit down, quickly. I made my husband sit across the table from me. He looked anxious, not knowing what this was about. Don't you have anything you want to tell me? What? That's a pretty broad question. Nothing in particular. Oh, is this one of those traps where you pretend not to suspect anything but you're trying to make me confess? I haven't done anything wrong. My husband said that, but he wouldn't look me in the eyes. If he thought he was being accused of infidelity, he should be more flustered. He's probably thinking that I've found out about him throwing away the lunches. Let's start with the lunch issue then. There were days when I had you watched. I got to know what kind of person you really are. Watched? You're supposed to be taking care of Jack and Noah. You couldn't possibly have time for that. I wasn't tailing you myself. First, look at this. I showed him a photo on my smartphone and placed it on the table for him to see. Is this a picture of the supermarket? Yes. A friend of mine who works there took it. I didn't know you had a friend working at a supermarket. Why didn't you tell me? I did tell you. I can't remember when, but I think I mentioned that a friend works there. It was just casual conversation, and you didn't seem that interested, so it probably just slipped your mind. My friend was troubled. You've been dumping kitchen waste there every day. So, you knew all along that I've been throwing away the lunches. I had told my friend to not say anything if she found my husband dumping the lunches. Thus, my husband continued throwing away my lunches. While wasting lunches is regrettable, it was convenient for me. Knowing there might be an affair, I explained the situation and had my friend take photos of my husband dumping the lunches. About the lunches. I guess frozen foods just don't suit my taste, or eating them every day isn't good for my health. To me, the lunch issue was just an entry point to bring up the affair. But my husband, thinking this was the main issue, was making excuses with all his might. His actions seemed almost comical to me, leaving me speechless in disbelief. Then, mistaking my silence for pressure, my husband started apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry. It was all my fault. I won't throw away the lunches anymore. Please forgive me. Forgive you? But if you were throwing away the lunches, what were you doing for lunch? I was buying lunches from the store. But didn't you say you didn't want to eat frozen foods because they're bad for your health? That was just an excuse I made up on the spot. The truth is, I just wanted to freely choose what I wanted to eat. My husband's story, filled with lies upon lies, was becoming more contradictory. He seemed aware of his flimsy excuses, as sweat began to bead on his forehead. However, this wasn't the end goal of my conversation, so I moved on to the next step. Store lunches have gotten quite elaborate, haven't they? Going to the trouble of packing them in a lunchbox for you? A lunchbox? I left my phone on the table, sliding to the next photo to show him. Is this the lunch you ate at work? How do you have this photo? Didn't Mike take a photo of your lunch a few days ago? He said he wanted to show it to his wife for reference. Oh, right, he did come to take a photo for that reason. That's from then. Let's get to the main point. You've been receiving these lunches from a female coworker you're having an affair with, haven't you?
What? What are you talking about?
My husband suddenly yelled at me, accusing me of suspecting an affair. However, his reaction, clearly meant to hide his agitation, had no effect on me. Pretending to be angry while my husband panicked, I slowly cornered him further. So, I heard there's a rumor going around the office that you're having an affair with a coworker. Well, rumors like that don't come out of nowhere, though that woman probably doesn't know she's being talked about like this. Rumors? Oh, rumors. Hearing the word rumor, my husband's anxious expression turned into a smirk. Thinking he found a way out. It's just a rumor. You believe that? Being accused of an affair without any evidence is just unbearable. If there's no evidence, as long as he doesn't admit it, he thinks he can escape the accusation. It's a common and effective tactic for someone who has done wrong to try and escape. However, I won't let my husband get away with such a typical method. I left my smartphone on the table and slid to the next photo.
Why do you have this kind of photo?
What appeared on the smartphone screen was a photo of my husband and his affair partner coming out of a love hotel. My husband looked away from the smartphone and stared at me, his surprise overtaking his panic.
It seems like after leaving work on time, you hurriedly have dinner with this woman, then head straight to a hotel, and come back home just before the last train. This outlines your whole day from throwing away the morning lunch to coming back home from the affair. How about that? I've been keeping a close watch, haven't I?
How did you get this photo? I hired a detective agency. Do you want to see the investigation report? A detective? Is it that easy to hire one? It's not easy. I was surprised myself when I looked it up. Hiring a detective can cost from $400 to $600 just for an hour of work. Infidelity investigations, where they don't know who, where, or how often the meetings occur, can take months and cost tens of thousands, sometimes even reaching a lot more. And you spent that kind of money just to catch me cheating? How much did you spend? $20,000? $40,000? As if a stay-at-home mom could afford that, even working, that's not an amount I can just come up with. But in your case, I knew the affair partner was a female coworker. Plus, the late nights were on affair days, right? Living together, I noticed you coming home late was concentrated towards the end of the week. So, we narrowed down the investigation timing significantly. We started surveillance from your Wednesday's regular leaving time. The first day you came straight home, but the next day we got a photo of you leaving with the affair partner from work. The investigation only took 2 days, so it was cheaper. Just 2 days and you caught me cheating. That's right. But even though it was cheaper because it only took 2 days, it still cost $3,000. So, you'll be paying a fair amount in alimony. Alimony? If infidelity is proven with evidence, divorce is inevitable, right? And if it's a divorce due to infidelity, it's only natural to receive alimony.
No, divorce is too sudden.
The divorce is already decided. Can you pack your stuff and leave quickly?
Why do I have to leave?
Are you suggesting Jack and Noah and I should stay in a hotel, or that I leave the kids with a cheating husband and go out myself? You seem to only think about yourself. Forgetting the existence of your children is unimaginable. There's one more reason for divorce now. My logical knockout seemed to work, as my husband quietly left the house. Seeing my husband leave made the kids laugh, and I felt like they were praising me for doing a good job. Following the discovery of the affair evidence, the divorce between my husband and me was smoothly finalized. The affair partner paid compensation, and my ex-husband was responsible for alimony and child support. After our divorce, I thought my ex-husband would end up with his affair partner, but that didn't happen. The affair between my ex-husband and the female coworker wasn't just a rumor, it was true, and they became the talk of the company, receiving cold stares from everyone around. Unable to withstand the atmosphere at work, the affair partner resigned. Moreover, she began to make unfounded claims that it was my ex-husband's fault she had to leave her job and that I demanded compensation from her. Eventually, my ex-husband and his affair partner broke up. My ex-husband remained at the company because he had to pay not only alimony but also child support for our children. His income should have been enough to cover the child support payments. However, my ex-husband was demoted and received a pay cut because of the affair. Normally, an affair is a private matter that shouldn't affect one's professional evaluation. But the affair led to the partner's resignation. It apparently had a negative impact on regular operations, and he was penalized for it. He might face difficulties at work from now on, but that has nothing to do with our children, so he'll have to pay child support for both. After the divorce, I moved back to my parents' house with the kids since I'm not working at the moment. With my parents helping with childcare, the burden has been significantly lightened. I think I might be able to work again once the kids are a bit older. Until then, I plan to enjoy happy moments, watching my adorable kids grow.